All right, today I want to learn about Karen Carpenter's death because when I was a young girl, I remember like my mom would play Close to You. Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? And then she told me that Karen Carpenter died from anorexia and was found in a closet. So I never verified this at all. Like I just like as a child, it's like she died from anorexia in a closet, which is really sad because there's some movie stars today that are like really, 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 really skinny and getting skinnier. And I'm really worried about them that like they could die of anorexia. So like it's a very serious disease, but I never really knew what really happened to Karen Carpenter or her biography. So I thought today I could like react to that. I just in the other window I just searched for Karen Carpenter death, but I haven't clicked on any of the videos yet. So I thought I could react to it, like just like watch it and then we can like talk about it. And people said she had like one of the best voices of all time. So it just really sucks that, you know, the talented people get take. Okay, so this is disturbing details found in Karen Carpenter's autopsy, sad tragic details. Let's see. Any of these look really good. So let's check out this first one.
Karen Carpenter, along with her brother Richard Carpenter, sold millions of records with 17 top 20 hits throughout the 1970s and 80s. Carpenter was only 19 when she and her brother signed to A&M Records, but their first album failed to make waves. However, their second featured their hit single, They Long to Be Close to You, which shot the Carpenters into stardom and ultimately won them a Grammy. As their fame and popularity increased, so did the pressure on Karen Carpenter. She had always been a dieter, but being in the public eye took it to another level. Carpenter began her quest for thinness after she graduated high school. Though she was never significantly overweight, she did consider herself to be, quote, chubby.
Oh, drumming.
Carpenter later hired a personal trainer who put her on a high-carb diet that ultimately made her gain weight. She fired the trainer and took matters into her own hands.
That's sad.
Carpenter began counting calories and restricting her food intake during meals. At the beginning of her career in 1970, the 5'5" Carpenter was 120
Oh
pounds.
my God.
But by 1975, she weighed just 90 pounds.
90?
The Carpenters were forced to cancel tours due to Karen collapsing on stage. It became clear that she was not eating and was experiencing physical and nervous exhaustion. Friends later described Carpenter as being, quote, psychotic about her weight. As well as her friends, fans and critics alike were appalled by Carpenter's diminishing figure. What she was actually suffering from was anorexia nervosa, something that Time reported was not widely understood at the time. Her friends and family did not know how to help her, and by the early 1980s, her eating disorder was advanced. Carpenter, who was reeling from a failed marriage and a grueling tour schedule, decided to seek help in New York. She would spend almost an entire year in the city. Shortly after her arrival, Carpenter made some shocking confessions. She told her therapist that she was taking 80 to 90 laxatives a night to lose weight. Additionally, Carpenter was abusing thyroid medication and was taking up to 10 pills a day to speed up her metabolism, despite her thyroid being normal. With professional help, Carpenter managed to gain around 23 pounds during this time. Much to the dismay of her therapist, Carpenter cut her treatment short and left New York to return to Los Angeles just in time for Thanksgiving. Although she was still weak, Carpenter was eating and making future tours plans. Months later, on February 4, 1983, Carpenter was found unresponsive on the floor at her parents' home. She was rushed to a hospital, but doctors could not save her. Carpenter was only 32 years old. According to autopsyfiles.org, Carpenter's autopsy revealed that at the time of her death, she weighed only 108 pounds. She had no solid material or food in her stomach, with only a dark green material that had, quote, the consistency of dried leaves. Both her stomach and bowel were swollen, and no medications were detected. However, a bottle of Ativan was found in the pockets of the red jogging suit she had been wearing when she collapsed. Officially, Carpenter's death is listed as emetine cardiotoxicity due to anorexia nervosa. In other words, Carpenter had suffered heart failure brought on by her eating disorder. This can be common for those with anorexia, as gaining weight, as Carpenter had done, can put a strain on the heart. It was also learned that she was taking Ipecac syrup, a vomit-inducing drug that she thought would prevent her from gaining weight. Instead, it weakened her heart even more. Over-the-counter sales of the drug were later banned after her death. It's believed that Carpenter's anorexia partly stemmed from her strained relationship with her mother, Agnes. By all accounts, Agnes doted more on Richard and withheld affection for Carpenter. Carpenter is considered to be the first publicized celebrity death from an eating disorder. It brought perception and recognition to anorexia, a little-known disease at the time. If you are struggling with an eating disorder or know someone who is, help is available. Visit the National Eating Disorders Association website or contact their live helpline at 1-800-931-2237. You can also receive 24/7 crisis support via text. Send NEDA to 741-741.
Wow, that is so sad. It's really, really sad because, well, they didn't even understand the disease back then. Now they understand it. I mean, I've known a ton of girls in treatment for anorexia. Um, it's really hard. But I will say it's like really hard as a woman because there's a lot of pressure to be thin. And I've had friends who were bulimic. And I used diet pills in high school. I was anorexic for a very brief time. Like in high school, I felt I was too fat. And I bought these like diet pills over the counter called ephedra. And then like for, I don't know, 4 months, I started going to the gym like during school because I had like a prep period my senior year. And I'd go on the elliptical trainer. I remember my heart rate would be like 190. And I would just do that every day. And then I would try to like only eat like half of a Nutri-Grain bar. You know the Nutri-Grain, Nature Valley bars that were like 2 bars? And I would only eat half of the half. And then I'd go all morning without eating and then only have that half of a half like sometime in the middle of school. And then I tried to go to the end of the day without eating. Then did that workout. Anyway, so then I lost like 10 pounds or something. I don't know, like from what I was doing. And the crazy part is that then everyone started telling me how good I looked. Everyone was like, oh my God, you look so good. You've lost weight. Because I wasn't like fat before, but I was like towards the higher end of healthy BMI, if that makes sense. And so then once I got towards the thinner side of BMI, then everyone was like, oh my God, you look so good. You look so good. So that's the problem, is that not everybody naturally has the look. Like some people naturally are just very thin. Like it's like they don't eat that much. Like if you've met anyone who's like naturally thin, they just kind of like don't eat that often, and they're kind of like they eat and then they get full really fast and they kind of stop, and they don't like think about food all the time. Like they eat when they're hungry and then they stop. And people who are on the heavier side, they tend to eat maybe because they like eating, or they'll eat and don't know when they're full, and then they'll kind of just like snack throughout the day and they don't really get the signals for fullness, which I have more of that type of thing. And so it's really hard because you get so rewarded by society. So anyway, it's really hard. But I do think also back then it's always hard. I mean, right now, just to draw attention to a really like situation that's going on is, have you guys seen Ariana Grande's like transition from before, like over the last few years? She basically like, look how skinny she is now. Like if you just look at these photos, she's like becoming really, really thin. Like she must weigh 90 pounds, but she was always a small girl. But now she's just getting like really, really, really thin. So people are worried about her just generally. And it sucks because you're in the spotlight. And so you have this like immense pressure to go to red carpets and stuff like that. So anyway, I just think it's still a problem today. The only difference is we have better treatment. Like they actually have like DSM treatment and rehab centers and doctors who specialize in anorexia. But it still doesn't help take away the fundamental thing. I also thought it was kind of the sad thing they said in the end of that documentary about how the mother was like really hard on her, but like doted on the son. And I've seen that happen so many times in families where like the parent will raise one child up, like basically the golden child, and the other child will be like the scapegoat and basically like never get any love from the parent. And so many people do that. Like I've seen so many parents do that to their kids, and I know people from those families who were in those families. And it's just really shitty. So I don't know. why people would do that. But, daughters, I don't know, it's like the projection of the mother's own issues on the daughter, like it's just really messed up. But it's too bad because she was so talented. And I think I want to do a whole series on like other musicians who died young, like to learn about it. Because I know Janis Joplin died really young, and then Pigpen died really young, and um, Jim Morrison from The Doors. So anyone else? Oh, like Terry Kath, right? I want to do a little like expose on that. So I think it's just interesting to see all these musicians who died like much too young, and to maybe just go over like their tragic deaths, because like it was just sad for everybody. But I don't know. I just feel bad for the people today that like are still struggling from eating disorders. But there is so much pressure to be thin, and you actually get really rewarded in society for being a thin woman. But then there's like too thin, right? So it's like the difference between healthy thin and then being too thin. It's such a small threshold. It could be 10 pounds for some girls. Like, oh wow, you're 115, you're healthy. But if they get to 105, they're really unhealthy, right? I'm taller, so I probably have a bigger buffer. But I'm like thin right now. I'm like at my thinnest high school weight, actually, which is great. But if I was to lose 20 pounds, because I'm 5'9", then I'd be too skinny, right? So it's like, that's not that much weight if you think about it. Like, it's it's crazy. So the line is very narrow. So anyway, if this was an interesting topic, or if you want to I'll say something about Karen Carpenter, please comment it. I'm just trying to catch up on all this 70s stuff, and so if I don't catch up on this history, then listening to the music, it's like I don't really understand what was going on, kind of like the 70s and stuff like that, and Vietnam for the late 60s. Like, I just have to kind of understand the historical stuff that went on around it. All right, so if you want to request a reaction, click on this form, which is found at the top of my YouTube profile, then this, and then if you want to tip me, tip here, and then note the tip in the form so I can link it. And then I, yes, somewhere on my list, I just did this. Or no, this wasn't on my list. This was my own idea. So there is nothing to mark off. It was my own idea, not a tip. I just thought of this video. All right, these are the kind of videos I want to make when I think about, I'm always like, oh, I should do this, I do this. And then I'm like, oh, I have a lot of tips to do. And then whenever I like don't need to do a tip request, or I just want to like stop the tip request for a second and just divert, then I'll do my own idea. This is my own idea today. So I hope you liked it, and I'll see you guys on the next episode soon. Bye.